Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be exploring some really mind-bending research on bioelectricity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you guys have sent in a ton of material on Michael Levin and the work his team is doing.
Right.
So we're going to unpack some of the most fascinating aspects of it, especially how it could change the future of medicine and even how we think about consciousness itself.
Yeah, I think what I find so intriguing about Levin's work is that he argues bioelectricity isn't just about signals between cells.
Right.
He sees it as this kind of cognitive glue that holds cells together
Okay.
and allows them to act collectively, almost like a society of cells.
So it's not just about individual cells following instructions from DNA. There's something more.
Right. Think about neurons in the brain.
Yeah.
Each neuron is pretty basic on its own, but through electrical signals, they form a network that allows us to think and experience the world. Levin suggests something similar is happening with all our cells.
Wow.
It's about collective intelligence, not just following a set of genetic instructions. Cells are constantly communicating, coordinating, and working together to form and maintain organs.
Yeah.
This bioelectric network keeps everything functioning smoothly.
It makes me wonder what happens when things go wrong, like with cancer.
Oh, that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
Levin's research suggests that cancer cells essentially disconnect from this bioelectric network.
Right.
They stop listening to the signals that tell them where to grow and when to stop, becoming individualistic and prioritizing their own growth,
Right.
which leads to uncontrolled growth and metastasis.
So if cancer cells are like rogue agents, how does reintegrating them into the network actually work at a cellular level? Could we use bioelectricity to essentially reprogram them?
That's precisely what Levin's lab has done with frogs.
Oh, wow.
They've been able to reverse this disconnection, effectively telling the cancer cells to stop growing.
Okay.
By using bioelectricity to reintegrate those rogue cells back into the network, they found that tumors stopped developing. Imagine the implications. Treating cancer not by attacking cells, but by reprogramming them.
Wow.
It's a whole new paradigm for medicine.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It sounds like science fiction becoming reality.
Yeah.
Is this just theoretical, or are there actual practical applications on the horizon?
It's not just theory. The frog cancer reversal shows real potential for practical application.
Yeah.
And this leads to an even more fascinating question.
Okay.
Could bioelectricity hold the blueprints for life itself?
Wow.
What if it's not just about function, but also dictates the shape and structure of organisms?
Wait, so you're saying that the electrical signals are somehow shaping the way an organism develops?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
The planaria experiment is a perfect example.
Okay.
Planaria are flatworms known for their incredible regenerative abilities.
Right.
Levin's team manipulated the bioelectric fields in these worms, and incredibly, they caused the planaria to grow 2 heads.
What?
And they didn't alter the DNA or micromanage individual cells. They just changed the overall bioelectric pattern, and the organism adapted accordingly.
2 heads.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. So it's like rewriting the software of life, not the hardware.
Exactly. It challenges the traditional view that everything boils down to genes and molecules. Levin argues that bioelectricity is a higher-level control system shaping the form and function of life in ways we're only beginning to understand.
Right.
It's almost like DNA is the hardware, the building blocks, while bioelectricity is the software, the instructions telling those blocks how to arrange themselves.
Okay, this is blowing my mind a little.
Yeah.
But if bioelectricity can have such a profound impact on complex organisms, what about simpler life forms? Does it play a role there too?
That's where the concept of scaling cognition comes in.
Okay.
Even simple systems like bacteria exhibit collective behavior through bioelectricity.
Interesting.
They coordinate their actions, share information, and even make decisions as a group.
So even bacteria are using bioelectricity to communicate and coordinate.
Yes.
Does that mean bacteria are thinking? Where do we even draw the line between simple organisms and what we consider cognitive systems?
That's precisely the point Levin is making. These categories might be more fluid than we think.
Right.
He uses a great analogy of 2 neurons debating the nature of the universe.
Okay.
One neuron is a materialist believing only in physical matter and the laws of physics.
Right.
The other is more mystical, sensing a larger purpose and intelligence at play. The point is, their perspective shapes what they see as possible.
Yeah.
Maybe we are limited by our own categories, missing the bigger picture because we assume simple organisms can't have complex behavior.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It makes you rethink everything you thought you knew about life.
It really does.
But this idea that bioelectricity might be a form of intelligence even in simple organisms, where does that lead us?
Well, it raises a lot of interesting questions about how we define intelligence and consciousness and how they might manifest in different ways throughout nature.
Yeah.
But we can explore those questions a little later.
Okay, first let's delve a bit deeper into how bioelectricity actually works at the cellular level.
Okay, sounds good.
You mentioned wanting to understand how bioelectricity works at the cellular level.
Yeah, it's one thing to talk about it as this cognitive glue or like a control system.
Right.
But like, what's actually happening?
Yeah.
How are these electrical signals generated and what makes them so powerful?
Well, it all comes down to the flow of ions across cell membranes.
Okay.
Cells maintain a voltage difference across their membranes.
Uh-huh.
It's like a tiny electrical circuit.
Right.
And this voltage can change in response to various stimuli.
So are we essentially talking about cells acting like batteries?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
They maintain this voltage,
Okay.
and these changes can propagate to neighboring cells, creating waves of electrical activity that spread throughout tissues.
So one cell triggers the next?
Yeah.
Like a domino effect.
Exactly.
And these signals can actually tell cells what to do.
Exactly. And it's not just about location or simple instructions.
Right. These bioelectric signals can carry complex information about things like cell identity
Oh, wow.
and even the overall shape of the organism.
Okay.
They can tell cells what type of tissue to become, where to go, and when to stop growing.
So it's more like they're sending each other detailed messages, not just simple on-off signals.
Right.
It's like a cellular internet.
That's a great analogy. What's even more remarkable is that these bioelectric signals can actually override genetic instructions.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
In some cases, changing the electrical pattern of a cell can cause it to develop into a completely different type of cell, even if its DNA hasn't changed.
Wait, you're telling me you can reprogram a cell just by changing its electrical state?
Yeah.
That's incredible. What are the implications of that?
The possibilities are mind-boggling. Imagine being able to regenerate damaged organs, repair birth defects, or even create entirely new life forms, all by manipulating bioelectricity.
It sounds both amazing and a little terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin to draw the line when it comes to manipulating life in this way?
That's a crucial question we need to address as a society. Levin himself emphasizes the need for responsible innovation in this field. We need careful consideration of the potential risks and benefits,
Right.
and open dialogue about the future of bioelectricity research.
It's like we're opening a door to a whole new world, but we need to make sure we proceed with caution.
Right.
Speaking of new worlds, you mentioned earlier that Levin's work raises questions about intelligence and consciousness.
Yeah.
How does bioelectricity factor into those big picture questions?
Well, think about it. We tend to view consciousness as something unique to humans, or at least to higher-order animals with complex brains.
Right.
But if bioelectricity is this fundamental language of life present even in single-celled organisms, could it play a role in consciousness in ways we haven't even considered?
Are you suggesting that even simple life forms could have some level of consciousness? That's a pretty radical idea.
It might seem radical, but let's go back to that idea of collective intelligence. If cells are communicating and coordinating their actions through bioelectricity, creating systems that are far more complex than the sum of their parts,
Right.
could something similar be happening at a larger scale?
So you're saying that consciousness could be a form of collective intelligence, not just limited to brains.
Exactly. Some researchers believe that consciousness itself might be a form of collective intelligence, arising from the complex interactions of billions of neurons in the brain.
But if our thoughts and feelings are essentially just electrical signals firing in our brains, couldn't we theoretically create artificial consciousness, like in a computer?
That's a question that's hotly debated in the field of artificial intelligence.
Right.
Some experts believe that it's theoretically possible to create conscious machines, while others argue that consciousness is an emergent property of biological systems that can't be replicated in silicon. So the jury's still out on that one.
It sounds like we're on the verge of some major breakthroughs in our understanding of life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah.
But it's a lot to wrap your head around.
It certainly is, and it's important to remember that we're still just scratching the surface of what bioelectricity can tell us about life and consciousness.
Right.
But the research is incredibly promising, and as we learn more about this hidden language of life, we're likely to discover even more amazing things.
Well, I, for one, am hooked. But before we get too lost in these grand possibilities, let's bring it back down to Earth for a minute.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the cellular level up to these mind-bending questions about consciousness.
It's been quite a journey. We've explored how bioelectricity acts as a cognitive glue, holding cells together and coordinating their actions. We've delved into the concept of bioelectric blueprints, the idea that electrical patterns might shape the very form of life, and we've even touched on the profound implications of these discoveries for our understanding of consciousness.
It's enough to make your head spin.
Yeah.
But it's also incredibly inspiring to think about the vast unexplored potential of bioelectricity. Who knows what other secrets this hidden language of life holds?
That's the beauty of science. It's a never-ending quest for knowledge, a journey of discovery that constantly challenges our assumptions and expands our understanding of the world.
And with researchers like Michael Levin leading the way, the future of bioelectricity research looks brighter than ever. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on what this all means on a larger scale.
You mentioned wanting to talk about the larger scale implications of all this.
Yeah, exactly. We've explored how bioelectricity works within individual organisms. But what if it doesn't just stop there? What if this web of communication extends beyond just our bodies?
It's a fascinating question. We tend to think of ourselves as separate individuals, but Levin's work suggests we might be much more interconnected than we realize, not just with each other,
Right.
but with all living things.
You're bringing back that concept of collective intelligence again. But are we talking about something more than just cells working together in a body? Are you suggesting there's like a planetary consciousness?
I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but Levin's research does suggest bioelectricity could be a universal language of life,
Okay.
allowing communication and coordination at levels we're just beginning to understand.
Right.
What if ecosystems or even the entire planet are functioning as a sort of superorganism with bioelectricity playing a key role in that interconnectedness?
So instead of separate individuals, we're more like nodes in a vast network, all communicating through this bioelectric web. A pretty mind-blowing shift in perspective.
It really is. It challenges our traditional understanding of where the boundaries lie between ourselves and the world around us.
Yeah.
It suggests a much deeper level of unity and interdependence.
That raises some interesting questions. If we're all connected in this way,
Right.
what does it mean for our responsibilities to each other, to the planet, and to all living things?
Those are definitely questions worth considering.
Yeah.
Levin's work isn't just about scientific breakthroughs. It's about expanding our understanding of who we are and our place in the cosmos. It's a call to re-examine our relationship with nature and recognize that interconnectedness.
This has been a truly eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah.
We've gone from the microscopic level of cells communicating with electricity to contemplating a planet-wide web of connection. What can we as individuals do with this information? How can we apply this new understanding of bioelectricity to our own lives?
That's the exciting part. The potential applications are vast, from new medical treatments and sustainable technologies to personal growth and well-being. Some researchers are already exploring how bioelectricity can be used to promote healing, reduce pain, and even enhance cognitive function.
So we might one day be able to tap into our own bioelectricity to improve our health and well-being.
The research is certainly promising. As we learn more about this hidden language of life, we're likely to uncover even more amazing applications. It's like we're rediscovering an ancient wisdom about the energy that flows through all living things.
Well, on that note, it's time to wrap up this deep dive. But before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
What if this bioelectric web, this interconnected network of life, extends beyond even our planet? What if it reaches out to the stars, connecting us to a larger cosmic intelligence that we're only beginning to grasp? A mind-boggling idea, but who knows what we might discover as we continue to explore.
It's certainly a possibility worth pondering, and as we delve deeper into the mysteries of bioelectricity, we may just inch closer to understanding our true place in this vast and interconnected universe.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the most fascinating and thought-provoking ideas out there. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep your minds open to the infinite possibilities.